worked really hard in our district to train kids, to help kids, even at the high school level. I've seen a huge increase with that, and there's no confidentiality boundaries in that at all. If your friend says that they're going to hurt themselves, they let us know, and I've seen a huge, across the board increase.
Part of our conversation with school counselors this week about how to tackle mental health challenges in Central Texas districts. You heard from Hayes, the AISD counselor right there earlier this week. On KXAN News Today, we spoke with her superintendent live, part of our Save Our Students project. And this morning, we continue the conversation with Dr. Paul Cruz, the superintendent for Austin ISD. Dr. Cruz, thank you for being here.
Sure, thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. That counselor that you heard from talking about the importance of students speaking up when they believe that maybe a fellow student may be harming themselves or is going to harm themselves. Your district, when we looked at the numbers, shows 2 school years ago, there were nearly 380 suicide attempts reported. That's reported. And 6 students killed themselves. It's hard for me to even repeat those 2 lines. My heart hurts for those families. What are you doing, and is this a problem?
It's something we take very seriously, both as educators and also as a parent. It's important that we support our students in many different ways. So we have counselors at all of our schools. We also have 45 mental health centers throughout our school district, in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. And what's important for staff and for students is if they see something, to say something, to talk to somebody about what's happening and how students are processing emotions. It's been a strong effort for us around social emotional learning, but it's important that we support our kids in every way possible.
When I say reported, these are students who have said, you know, yes, I'm thinking about this, or my friend is thinking about this. What happens when you do see that? How do you step in to make sure that we don't end up another way?
Well, we take it very seriously. So with our counselors or teachers, it could be a principal, an adult there at the school, working with the student and his or her family. So I think that's really where it starts. But it's, of course, taking it very seriously. Making sure that we're providing the necessary supports for our students, and making sure that we're connecting with our families and the students' families. That's really important. And then just sort of monitoring progress and checking in with our students.
Okay, there are a lot of things going on at AISD when it comes to consolidating. It's like we've been talking about that lately. Schools that may have to close, that are under-enrolled, schools that are, you know, over-enrolled, that something needs to happen there. What's the latest there in the process? Where are we now? Well,
you know, the big vision around implementing our bond is around providing all of our students with 21st century learning spaces. The big reason for this is around access and opportunity. So these are really the big ideas we are trying to realize for our students across the district. As you know, our constituency approved over $1 billion bond, and we're making good on that promise. We are going to open up 3 new schools this January, another 4 in August of this next school year. So the schools are being built. The impact of that is that there may be some consolidations. But with this, of course, we're working with our different community members, a lot of engagement as to find out and to get information around if we're not going to use a school as a school, what's another community need? So is it around affordability? Is it for teacher housing? Is it for a recreation space? What is the other community need in that area so we can actually meet those needs specifically for each community? So maybe taking those schools that are not going to be used and repurposing it in a way that would give back to AISD? Absolutely. Oh, well, back to our families. To the community, right? Exactly. So it could be around housing, recreation. You know, it just really depends on what the need is in that community. But it's through a lot of engagement and conversation. So right now we're still in the process of getting that feedback, or you're in the process of figuring out what to do with the feedback? You know, now we're actually going through the feedback and actually then developing scenarios. We will be presenting those scenarios to our community and to our board before a final vote that'll come in November. Okay, well, nothing says teacher appreciation, you know, on the first day of school, but there's also another way to appreciate your teachers, and that's by paying them more. What are they going to get in their paycheck now? You're right. This year we made a commitment to our staff, and so we've actually doubled what was required as far as through our state funding system. So all of our employees received a 6% increase. So that's a across-the-board pay increase for our staff. Our teachers with more than 5 years experience, it's a 7% increase. Okay. And it really felt good because our teachers work so hard. All of our staff members do. Our principals, our custodians, bus drivers, and so we want to make sure to support them in this way. Okay, Dr. Cruz, we appreciate you being here and supporting your teachers and your students as well. Thank you.
This is a digital exclusive as part of our Save Our Students series. I'm here with Dr. Paul Cruz of Austin Independent School District. I'm Alyssa Gord. Dr. Cruz, we're so excited to have you here with us today. Are there things that you would like to do to improve the type of outreach you guys do to students and to the campus community to get that information about things that might be concerning them?
Well, it is about doing training. So letting parents know that these are our processes, these are our procedures, talking to our staff members about it so that they in turn can talk to students, and it helps to process these situations. What's happening in other parts of the state and in our country, kids are aware and may have questions about it, and it's important to take it very seriously so that we are providing the necessary support for the student and also for that school community.
Speaking of providing support, can you talk a little bit about the mental health clinics that you guys have on your campuses? Why has it been a priority for AISD to offer that kind of care on campuses?
Well, we see the need. So we've seen the need over time that it is important that it's something that we know about. It's something that we began to look into when we really put a concerted effort into social emotional learning, making sure that SEL was being taught and practiced in all of our schools, but then taking it to the next level. And mental health centers, that was really an important step because we wanted those sites to be on our campuses. So perhaps in the past we would say for our student or family, here's a site to go to for additional support, but it might be a distance away. We wanted to make sure it was right there within that campus so that students could access that support during the day. And then also families can come in. So many of this is many times managed with the entire family, but it'd be on the school site, right in the neighborhood, right in that student's community.
Many people might not be aware. You guys have kind of a unique model where you have more than 40 different mental health centers which offer licensed therapists who are available for the campus community?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we had started in one school a few years ago at one of our high schools, but we saw how well received it was and how important it was for our students and for our teachers that we expanded it and really continued expanding. And also we're able to earn some grants to fund some of these supports and services. I also think it was important to remove the stigma. Just in my growing up, it was very different, and it wasn't really discussed. It's something that we were, processing emotions, but it wasn't something that we actually discussed with others or maybe even felt comfortable discussing with others. I want to make sure that students who need support and assistance are getting it, are getting that support. Teachers also want to help out kids in so many different ways, but there's only so much they can do. So by having that mental health center right on the school site, teachers also come in and visit the mental health center and see what it's like. Students can come in. So it's just sort of like the natural part of that school environment. It's so important to remove the stigma so that kids get the support that they need.
And with the mental health centers on more than 40 campuses, does AISD have hopes for being able to expand those to all campuses?
Because of what I'm seeing and the way I was just at a mental health center and visiting one with some of our city leaders. I'm seeing more and more of the need for it and more communities wanting them on the school site. This is something that folks are asking for in our schools and our communities, our parents and our board members as well. So I'm hoping to expand to other schools because I know that the need is there.
Right, and students who are perhaps uninsured or may come from families who might be hesitant about reaching that care, you guys are trying to make that accessible to them?
We do, and so our staff members at our mental health centers know about how to support families in that way if there are resources, and we're looking at different types of funding models. And so it's something that we're still studying, but I do think it's something that we hope to expand.
Dr. Cruz, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you.